It has been a very long time, and clearly I have a guest. Hi everybody, welcome back. I'm Melissa, the owner of Cali Meets NYC, and we're a fragrance company based out of Lake Worth, Florida. It has been a very long time, and clearly I have a guest. So this is my newborn baby girl. She is currently sleeping. She's 6 weeks old as of today, and she is my pride and joy. So this is going to be very different. We are in the studio. This is the first time I'm really in the studio during the daytime in probably over 2 months. So I haven't made any product in over I want to say about 2.5 months, something like that. And I'm really excited to share with you the journey and story of my pregnancy. I didn't really let a lot of people know that I was pregnant. One, because I was a high risk pregnancy. And then two, I had previously had a miscarriage. So I really didn't want that to, I don't know. I'm going to tell all my truths. And it's really because a lot of people usually deal with miscarriages and don't share them, don't share their story. A lot of things that I have found or not found was a lot of people didn't want to share their story, or I felt like I needed to hear that it was going to be okay, basically. So let me start from the beginning. So my miracle baby, August 2024, I was like pretty sure I was pregnant. Took pregnancy tests and I had a positive. It was very faint. And I took another one and it was very faint but positive. And so I was like, okay. So my husband and I, we were really excited. We were, in the trying stages, and I just remember feeling like very different than how my period would be. Sorry, this is TMI, but I really want to be honest with you guys and to share everything, because just because I am an entrepreneur doesn't mean I don't also go through things as well. So in August, I was like 100% sure with even the faint pregnancy tests. Usually with my period, I get like PMS and I have cramps, and that's about it. I don't really have any other symptoms other than that. But this time around, and it's weird because, pregnancy symptoms are very similar to period symptoms, and I'm just like, who decided that was gonna be the thing? But anyway, so this was different. I had headaches. I was very fatigued. I was extremely tired during the day. I had to take naps, and I was just like, this is weird. And everything you look up, it's like period symptoms, almost same as pregnancy symptoms. And I'm just like, well, how do you tell the difference if you don't take a test? Anyway, so got really excited. Husband was really excited, and we ended up telling his dad, his mom, We ended up taking a trip to Syracuse, New York in September, told my family. A week later, we had our confirmation appointment and found out we had an early miscarriage. And I was devastated. My husband was devastated. Like we just, we just had, we didn't have any words. We couldn't figure out what went wrong and why, and we were just, in our minds, we were doing everything right. We both got, went on this health journey. We both stopped drinking. We started exercising more, started eating better, and, all the things to really, bring a baby into this world. And we just couldn't figure out why. Our doctor had reassured us that, hey, this, even though it's devastating, this isn't the end all be all. It could definitely happen, just because you have a miscarriage does not mean, it will never happen for you. So we were reassured. She told us when we're ready, we, emotionally, not just physically, but then emotionally, when we're ready to try again. So we decided to try again, and in the midst of all of this, I was like doing a lot of research, and I started taking more vitamins. I heard vitamin D was good for you. I heard CoQ10 was good for you to ensure the health of your eggs. So I was like on a very, very big vitamin kick. So I started taking all these vitamins. I was already on prenatals. Like, I was doing all of the things. So in the midst of this, we had tried again, and then had another early miscarriage, but like didn't have a positive test, but it was the same exact thing as before. And I was like, I'm still 100% sure that was miscarriage. And they call it chemical pregnancy. So I wasn't having issues getting pregnant. I was having issues keeping the baby. So we decided to try again. And by this time, I had been on all the vitamins, all the things for 30 plus days, probably around 45 days, something like that. And I was like 100% sure I was pregnant. I was like, I had all the symptoms. Again, I felt tired, and I'll insert stuff because I was actually filming, and I kept on saying during the filming that am I pregnant? And I was doing Vlogmas. I'm so out of breath. Why am I out of breath? And I was so tired. I was so tired, so exhausted, so out of breath. I had to stop every few seconds when filming because I was so out of breath with filming. I was just like, what is happening with my body right now? Am I pregnant? And I had to make sure that when I was editing that I cut those parts out because I wasn't even sure at that point. But my body was changing. So my birthday's in December. So I decided to test the day after my birthday. And I got the best birthday gift ever was a positive pregnancy test. And I'll insert clips in because what I did was I felt like we had, between my husband and we had spent so much money on the pregnancy test, the first response, the digital ones. We spent so much money on pregnancy tests before. So I got like cheapy ones from Amazon. So I think I paid like $8 for like 25 tests. So if I wanted to test every single week, I could, or every couple days I could, because I wanted to see the line get darker. That was my whole thing, is that I want to make sure the pregnancy is progressing. And because I was in fear of going to another confirmation appointment and having the doctor saying, no, you're not pregnant. So I kept on taking tests, and I'll insert the week by week. I took the test every couple of days, and you could see that the line just got darker and darker and darker. And then I had a dye scaler, and I was just so thrilled. Now, we did not want to tell our family until our confirmation appointment, which was in January. So once we had the confirmation, we told our family that we were pregnant. And I just feel like I was so overjoyed that I found out I was pregnant, found out that at the confirmation appointment that it's progressing, and I just had so much anxiety that I was gonna lose the baby, so I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't want to tell too many people, so definitely did not tell friends, family until like after the first trimester. You know, a lot of things happen. So I was also very careful about Pilates, so I made sure I told my instructors. I definitely I still went to Pilates, definitely not as frequently as I was going. Prior to my pregnancy, I was going 4 times a week. And the classes that I was doing was like very intense classes. So I was doing like cardio class. I was doing like a core class, and so the levels of classes went down because I couldn't do them anymore. So I think I went to like 2 or 3 classes a week, and then I had to eventually go to like 1 class a week, and then just really walk around where I live. And I did aqua aerobics because we have a pool in our community. So we let our friends, family know after the first trimester. So everybody was really excited. I was really excited. We just had a very big journey, and then things just started happening. I just started stressing out, and the big stressors were, so high risk. So I'm over 35. I am Black. I am overweight. I have high blood pressure. I have nephrotic syndrome, which is a kidney disorder. It's in remission, but it does scare a lot of people. And it scared my doctor's office. So, or my OBGYN's office at that time. And basically after the first trimester, they were like, we don't feel comfortable with you being our patient and delivering your baby. So now I am trying to find a doctor, an OBGYN covered by my insurance. That will take me in this late pregnancy, because I think at that point I was maybe like 13 or 14 weeks, but I was definitely into the second trimester, and some doctors won't take you after the first trimester. And so it took a while to find a doctor that I trusted, that would take my insurance, that would take me. And that was so stressful. And I remember because my mom was visiting at the time, and I think this was February or March, and it was so stressful. It was so stressful, and I'm just like, it's like hitting a brick wall. And it was crazy because we loved her doctor. It was it was where she worked did not feel comfortable. And it was devastating, to say the least. And I was stressed out. So stressed. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then we had to have all these tests. It felt so surreal, because I'm just like, okay, I have this great news that I'm pregnant, but now nobody wants to take me because I'm high risk. And now I have a high risk doctor. I have an OBGYN that kicked me out. And now I have to find a new OBGYN who's willing to deliver my baby. I'm just like, what is going on? How is that possible that you just kick a patient out? I was just so confused. But lo and behold, I did end up finding a really great OBGYN that would take me, that took my insurance, that was phenomenal. And it ended up being the best thing ever, because they were so wonderful. They were so wonderful. It took a while to find, because I just felt like I just remember there was this one place I called, and they were like, they wouldn't even look at my file. They were like, congratulations, you're pregnant. Well, good luck finding a doctor. We're full. I was like, what? Huh? Thank you. So after eventually finding my doctor, and having the first appointment, I felt really good about the first appointment, felt really good about the second appointment, and just continued to see them and the high risk doctor. Then, everything was good. Everything was looking good. Testing my blood pressure, like, every day was good. Like, I didn't have any complications. It was a pretty smooth pregnancy. And I was so thankful that my pregnancy was so smooth. I just, I had a lot of heartburn, and I kept on asking. I said, well, does that lead to a lot of hair for the baby? Is that like an old wives' tale, or is it just, is it just something that happens? I hardly threw up in the first trimester. I had a lot more energy in the second trimester. My mind was just all over the place the whole entire pregnancy. I couldn't even think of anything, do anything with candle making. Like, my mind was so focused on getting our lives together for baby, getting everything prepared for baby. So we found out sex with baby, and just everything was just like whirlwind, complete whirlwind. And so probably around week 28, they were like, okay, so we're gonna schedule an induction. So I was like, wait, why am I scheduled for induction? I was so sure that I wanted a natural birth. I didn't want any epidural. I was very sure, and at the very beginning of my pregnancy, that I wanted to do a complete natural birth. I wanted to do a water bath. I wanted to do all the things. I wanted a midwife. I wanted a doula. I wanted all the things. Well, because I'm over 35, because of high risk, they're like, okay, listen, you also have high blood pressure. We can't risk it going into 41 weeks and you not delivering in your blood pressure going up higher. I'm like, okay, understandable. Figured that out. Came to grips with, hey, we're going to be induced. Now, I know that you could still be induced and then not have an epidural. So I was like, okay, I can still be induced and not have an epidural if I can get through the pain, right? So I'm practicing my breathing. I'm doing all the things. I'm breathing, and I'm like, okay, I can breathe through the contractions. I can do all of that and have no problem. So my due date was August 22nd, but I was scheduled to be induced just the week before, so August 15th. So August 15th rolls around at 8 o'clock. That was scheduled. They told me, hey, call it at 6 o'clock in the morning. Technically, I wasn't being medically induced because of current complications. I was voluntarily induced, if that makes sense. So there are people who can go full term, who can be voluntarily induced at 39 weeks. And so I was actually really thankful because it helped, with my mom getting here, because my mom's not here. So my mom doesn't live in Florida, so I was able to work around and say, okay, Mom, come this day, that way we can know that you're for sure going to be here for the birth. So, called on the 15th at 6 o'clock in the morning to make sure that they had room, because they want to, if you're being voluntarily induced, you have to call to make sure that they have room, because if there are people who are currently in active labor, not that they put you on the back burner, they don't have enough beds. So they have to take the people who are in currently active labor, and I was definitely not in active labor. So um, they were like, okay, um, don't come in at 8 o'clock. And we're like, okay. They're like, we're gonna call you when we're ready. So we were just kind of a wait and see type of thing. So we just started doing things around the house. My mom had bought all these clothes with her from Syracuse for Mariah, and started putting stuff away, started just like adjusting things and making sure that we were ready to go. We were watching some movies and just chilling. I was anxious, so I kept on calling, and so I called once, and so they said, we're gonna call you when we're ready. I said, okay. So they called around 4:30, 5 o'clock, and this is around the time I was like, we should have dinner, or we should figure out what we're gonna have for dinner. So we figured out what we wanted to have for dinner, and then they were like, okay, we're gonna see you at 8 o'clock. And so we're like, okay. So we had our dinner. You know, they said, have a big meal because you're not gonna be able to eat. So had a big meal. Or yeah, had a sub. I really wanted a Publix sub. I love Publix subs. Chicken tender sub. And that had been my love throughout pregnancy, chicken tender subs. So I had a chicken tender sub from Publix. And then, you know, after that, we made sure we were ready, packed everything in the car. Well, my husband had already packed everything in the car earlier that day. And we made sure we were ready, and we went off to the hospital. Now the hospital is about 30 minutes from where we lived. So it took us about 35 minutes, and we were there. So we got to the hospital, they checked us in, and mind you, we had been at the hospital like 10 times before, at least. I'm gonna say 10 times or 9 times before. So we had been doing the non-stress test at the hospital every single Friday. Hey, baby. So we had been doing the non-stress test every single Friday at the hospital. Since week 30. So they have seen our faces millions of times, and they're like, oh, is today the day? So we got there, and they saw our stuff. They said, is today the day? And we said, yes, today is the day I'm getting induced. So they took me upstairs to labor and delivery, and the hospital's gorgeous. And so, you know, it's funny because all the nurses were very familiar with us because we've been there, you know, 9 times for the past 9 weeks. So they were very, very familiar with us. So, you know, we met our night nurse. I changed into my labor and delivery gown that I had bought from Kindred Bravely, because I don't like regular hospital gowns. And so, and because I knew we were gonna be there for a while, and it, you know, so I had my mom and my husband there, and so I wanted 2 people to be able to be there as my support people. So, and it was such a beautiful thing for my mom to be able to be there with us during this time. So labor and delivery. So we got there at 8 o'clock. They decided to. This was the first cervical check that I was going to get. And so I was hoping that I was at least like 1 centimeter dilated. I wasn't even half a centimeter dilated, and I wasn't. I don't even think I was. I don't even think I was effaced at all. Like Friday, get there. Friday we get there, they start the 12-hour medicine. That's Friday. That goes into Saturday. My nurse was lovely, 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 lovely Kira. She was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So she was like, okay, so Saturday, you can have a little something, because I was like starving. And so my mom and my husband went to go get me a smoothie. So she was like, you can have a little something. You can't have like something huge, but have a little something. So they got me a smoothie because I just wanted something in my system. So they got me a smoothie. After I had the smoothie, they started the medicine in the cheek. Then by the time I was finished with all of that, because that's every 4 hours did that. So that's 16 hours that all took. So that went into the wee hours of morning. Meanwhile, this whole entire time, I want to move, right? So my biggest thing is I really wanted to get on the ball. I really wanted to not be in bed. That was my whole thing. I really wanted to walk around, but they needed to monitor where I am. Now, this little one, she likes to move around quite a bit, especially on the stomach, and she does not like the monitors. So she would not stay still for the monitors. So anytime I moved, the monitors moved off. She moved. It was not happening. It was not happening. So they tried to do like the monitor where you're able to like move around, and so she was just like, it just was not happening that night. It was not happening at all. So it just wasn't happening at all. So needless to say, I was in bed. Anyway, so they tried again, and so by this time, this is like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. And so they then broke my water. Editing Melissa here. So before my water broke, right after we finished all 4 rounds of the cytotech, they checked my cervix, and I was 4 centimeters dilated and 100% effaced. And that's when they had asked me, hey, do you want your water broken? Because it looks like it's about to break. Do you just want us to break it? And I said, sure, go ahead. So once my water was broken, the contractions started coming. And they were coming on strong. I hadn't started any Pitocin or anything like that yet. They then told me, hey, you could have something to eat because we're gonna start you on Pitocin. So get something in your system if you want it. So my mom and my husband, they got dressed, went down to the cafeteria, got me something to eat. And it was really weird because I wasn't really feeling like eating at that point. So like any of the stuff that they bought up grits, and I had the grits. I had some fruit, and that was about it that I had because I didn't want anything else. And I took a shower. And so I took a shower and I just like relaxed my whole entire self and just, I was like, I'm ready for this. Yeah, they started me a Pitocin, little doses. Little doses at first. I can't remember what the dose was off the top of my head. But all of a sudden, I had started to vomit. So I started to vomit really bad. I started to, because all I remember is they told me where the vomit cups were. And I was like, Mom, can you get the vomit cup? And so she was like, look, I was like, it's right there. And so she got the vomit cup. My husband was in the bathroom. And all of a sudden, I just like spewed. And I just kept on going. Got me a cold towel. And husband was kind of freaking out a little bit. He was panicking. And so the whole entire time, I'm like pretty calm. And I'm just breathing through the contractions that's coming on. So any of the contractions, I was like, and then whoever was talking, if I had a contraction, I was like, okay, go ahead. So then, you know, whatever they were saying, because I'm like, I can't listen to you right now. If I'm having a contraction, like, you know, y'all gonna have to shush. So all that was happening, and I was like, this pain is starting to become a little bit unbearable. And I was just like, if I am not far as I think I am, what are the contractions gonna feel like when I'm 10 centimeters dilated? I want that epidural. So you keep in mind that I said that I was 100% sure before that I wanted an epidural-free delivery. That was not the case anymore. And I had to put on my birth plan, I said that I'm open to epidural if need be. Because I'm just like, if I cannot bear the pain, or I don't want to bear the pain, I'm ready for it. So they got me on the list for the epidural. So the anesthesiologist was coming by. And so my mom and my husband left the room, got the epidural. I was a little scared. It wasn't as painful as I thought it was gonna be. So they did numb you. The needle is long, but they do numb you. I just made sure that I stayed still, and I was having a contraction when she was putting the needle in, and I was like, holy shit. That was an ordeal. So after all of that happened, so I got the epidural probably around like 11:30, and so they're monitoring me, and it still puked a little bit more, and it was really hot, and I was just chill the whole entire time. I was chill. So the next like half an hour or so, the nurse comes in and she's like, I guess I had moved, and Mariah did not like that. Her heart rate was dropping dramatically. So the nurse was like, Melissa, you have to move. The baby does not like the position you're in. She doesn't like it. Her heart rate is dropping. And I'm like, okay, so I moved. And I was like moving, I moved. And so then, you know, heart rate started adjusting. So I'm like, okay, better. So she's better. So I was asking the nurse, I said, well, how do you know? Because I kept on feeling like pressure. And I was like, how do you know when you have to push? Because I felt like I had gas. I felt like I had gas and I just need to let the gas out. And so she's like, it's gonna feel like you need to poop. And so she went with a whole science class, and she was like, the baby's gonna go down the birth canal and you're gonna feel the baby and da 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 da. And I'm like, I don't feel any of that, but I just feel like I have gas. And I asked my mom the same question. My mom's like, yeah, you're gonna feel like you have to poop. I was like, oh, okay. I don't feel like I have to poop. I just feel like I have gas. So the nurse was like, do you want me to check to see how far you're dilated? I said, yeah. So she went to go get the midwife. And the midwife was wonderful. And so in the midst of all this, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna push out gas. Meet the gas. Yes. So what happened was I pushed and I felt relief and I felt like something drop. And so I was like, well, I probably just pooped. In my mind, I was like, I probably just pooped. It's like, it happens. It's whatever. This is birth. You know. So I pushed once. I pushed twice. Felt a drop once. I felt a drop twice. And then I heard a cry. And I was like, I just had the baby. So she was my guest. So it was such a crazy story and such a crazy thing. So crazy. I was in active labor for 11 hours. I pushed twice, so all of 2 seconds. And yeah, it was such a surreal moment. So surreal. So surreal. And she was just perfect when she came out. 6 pounds, 6 ounces. Just perfect, full term. And here we are 6 weeks later. And my beautiful baby girl. And she's just been here chilling the whole entire time. Can you see her face? And head full of hair. And my husband and I are overjoyed. Overjoyed. She's just, oh, she's so lovely. But yeah, that is the pregnancy / birthing story. And you know what? I would do it all over again. I sure would. She's so precious. She's my little baby doll. She's my little baby doll. All right. So, if you like videos like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. And until next time, bye, you guys.